For the longest time, when you thought of Phuket, you thought of, well, a quick escape, a vibrant fly-in, enjoy the beaches, and fly-out kind of holiday.
Exactly. The quintessential 2-week vacation spot.
But if you've been watching the global property market, even casually, you know that picture is.
Yeah.
It's fundamentally changing. Phuket isn't just a transient stop anymore. It's rapidly becoming this sophisticated, permanent global community.
It really is.
So our mission today is to take a deep dive into the source material you've brought and really unpack the levers that are driving this huge transformation. We want to look past the beautiful beaches and get into the strategic forces at play.
Right, the why behind the what.
Exactly. Things like the massive impact of new infrastructure, targeted investment, and, maybe most importantly, how the demands of the people deciding to live there full-time are completely reshaping the island.
And for this, we're grounded in some very specific, very high-level market intelligence. Our insights are coming directly from Ocean Worldwide.
Okay, so they're a luxury real estate agency on the ground there.
A major one. They've been deeply embedded in Phuket since 2004. Their director, Sandra O'Neill, has personally helped, thousands of families and investors navigate this market for 2 decades.
Wow, so they've seen the whole arc of this change.
That's the key. That kind of long-term context is what makes their analysis so valuable, and it's what we're going to be sharing with you.
Fantastic. So let's set the stage. As we dive in, we're tracking, 4 major shifts?
4 big ones.
Yeah.
First, how new infrastructure is boosting property value and stability. Second, this definitive trend toward long-term year-round living.
Then there's the money, a projected jump in foreign investment, right?
A big one, around 20%, driven by a more diverse group of buyers. And finally, the demand for properties that are sustainable, flexible, and offer this full-service resort-style living.
Okay, let's unpack that, starting with infrastructure, because it feels like that's the foundation for everything else that's happening. These new projects are creating a real tangible buzz.
They are.
And it's not just about making things look nicer. It's about fundamentally making the island more accessible. And, accessibility is probably the #1 lever for property values.
It is, and what's fascinating here is the ripple effect. If you look at a map of Phuket from, say, 10 or 15 years ago, there were these beautiful pockets of land that were just underdeveloped.
Because they were a pain to get to.
A complete logistical headache. But with new roads and better transport links, these places that were once out of the way are suddenly prime. They're viable for high-end development.
So it's literally unlocking new land, new opportunities.
Exactly. It's opening up entirely new streams for investment in places that were, frankly, overlooked for years.
But the really huge one, the project that sends a global signal, has to be the airport expansion.
Oh, absolutely.
The development at Phuket International isn't just about, processing more tourists through the gates.
Yeah.
It feels like a clear commitment to global connectivity.
That's the perfect word for it. It's a commitment. It makes the island more accessible to a much wider and, frankly, more affluent range of international buyers. It signals long-term growth and stability.
Which brings us to something you mentioned that's a bit less glamorous, the utilities.
The unsung heroes of real estate. I know drainage and water supply don't make for great marketing copy,
Right.
but they are so important for long-term value. When you know the basic services are reliable, that you won't have to worry about flooding or water shortages, it demonstrates a real commitment to quality of life.
And for an investor, that means lower risk.
Lower risk, lower maintenance costs, and more confidence for people who are planning to live there year-round. It's about building institutional confidence, not just a bunch of new buildings.
That idea of building confidence is the perfect bridge to our second major theme, which is Phuket becoming a genuine global residential hub.
Yes.
The idea that it's just a tourist spot is, it's obsolete. We're seeing this major demographic shift. Families, professionals, they're choosing the island as a permanent base.
Often fueled by remote work.
For sure. That and just a desire for a different pace of life. But that fundamentally changes what a buyer is looking for.
It changes everything. They're not just looking for a holiday rental anymore. They're looking for a life support system, which raises the big question, is the infrastructure, the schools, the hospitals, actually ready for them?
And the answer seems to be yes.
Increasingly, yes. And developers are responding to that need.
That's the key takeaway right there. Because what we're seeing is this blend of high-end real estate with high-end hospitality. It's what people are calling resort-style living. So think about it. You get the privacy and space of your own home, But you also have hotel-level amenities,
Mhm.
a concierge, housekeeping, security, maybe even an amazing restaurant on site.
It's the ultimate convenience. That hassle-free lifestyle becomes the real luxury, especially for a remote worker or someone with a second home.
And for investors, that's where the opportunity is, in this resort-grade real estate.
Exactly. These aren't just well-built properties. They have high-quality finishes, incredible landscaping, communal areas that genuinely feel like a five-star resort.
And this is where it gets really specific and actionable for an investor listening to this. The market intelligence is pointing to some very clear opportunities, especially around land titles.
Yes, the Chenot title.
Explain that for us,
Uh-huh.
because for anyone unfamiliar with Thai real estate, this is critical.
The Chenot title is the highest, most secure form of land ownership in Thailand. It gives you the definitive legal security you need for a long-term investment.
So if you're building a modern pool villa, you want a Chenot title.
Absolutely. And that's what's in high demand. These Chenot-titled plots for turnkey homes, often fully furnished, that just embody that whole sophisticated lifestyle.
So let's talk about the hard numbers, the money that's driving all of this. What's attracting this surge in foreign investment? I mean, of course, there's the natural beauty, the culture.
That's always a factor. The intrinsic appeal of Southeast Asia is undeniable, especially compared to the cost of living in, say, London or New York.
But the data shows something more strategic is going on.
It does. Beyond that appeal, transactions involving foreign buyers are estimated to jump by around 20%.
20%, that's a huge leap.
It's significant. And what makes it stable is the diversification of the buyer pool. It's not just one or two nationalities driving the market anymore. We're seeing strong, accelerating interest from new places, specifically India and Russia.
Which spreads the risk and adds resilience.
Critical market resilience, yes.
And it seems like the local policy environment is helping to smooth the path for this.
Policy support is key. We're seeing simplified buying processes for non-Thais, and more importantly, new visa programs.
Like the long-term resident visa, the LTR.
Exactly. Those programs are explicitly designed to encourage extended stays and long-term commitment. It's a political signal that encourages property ownership over just short-term renting.
So as the market shifts to serve these permanent residents, the type of property they want has also evolved, right?
Yeah, massively. We're seeing a real environmental consciousness among these buyers, and it's now driving premium prices.
Meaning a demand for eco-friendly designs.
Yes, and the rise of concepts like eco-lofts.
Okay, you have to define that for us.
Yeah.
What exactly is an eco-loft in this context?
It's where high design meets functional sustainability. So we're not just talking about, slapping some solar panels on a roof.
Right.
The insight here is that buyers are willing to pay a premium, sometimes 10 or 15% more, for a home that guarantees lower long-term utility bills and a smaller carbon footprint. They want homes built to last in the tropics while being energy efficient.
And we're also seeing this interesting contrast in what people want. On one hand, you have these full-service complexes with pools, gyms, concierge, perfect for long-term residents who want zero hassle.
And those are great for investors who need easy rental management.
But at the same time, even with all the popular open-plan 1- and 2-bedroom units, there's an equally powerful pull towards gated communities.
It's a huge factor. For families relocating or for high net worth individuals, that desire for privacy, for enhanced security, for just a quiet, predictable environment, it's a non-negotiable.
And this shift isn't just residential. Commercial real estate is adapting too.
It has to. The traditional office model is fading. We're seeing a big move away from rigid layouts toward flexible solutions and a huge growth in co-working hubs across the island.
So that creates a different kind of opportunity for an investor.
A powerful one. A savvy investor can repurpose older buildings to meet this need for adaptable, high-tech workspaces. They can cater directly to the digital nomad lifestyle, which is all about flexibility and integration.
Okay, let's shift focus to what's expected inside these new homes. Let's start with tech. Smart home features are no longer a luxury, are they?
Right.
They're just expected.
They're standard now. Integrated features like automated lighting, advanced security, smart thermostats. It's all about maximizing convenience and efficiency, especially in a tropical climate.
And that tech also helps make the properties more resilient.
It plays a crucial role. Modern design is adapting to the climate with things like advanced waterproofing and better ventilation to combat humidity. And smart tech is part of that.
For instance.
Smart irrigation systems that conserve water, for example. It's about long-term durability and cost-effectiveness. You can see this kind of planning in the sustainable condos being developed near Nanyang Beach.
And this is where the very definition of luxury itself seems to be changing. It's less about shiny finishes and more about wellness.
Precisely. Buyers now want well-being integrated into the entire design. They want more than Italian marble.
So what does that look like?
It means dedicated spaces for exercise, a small private gym, a yoga studio. It means quiet zones for meditation, and communal spaces that are thoughtfully designed to foster health and a sense of community. It's a shift from aesthetic luxury to functional wellness.
And that aspirational lifestyle is being amplified by pop culture. We have to talk about set jetting.
Or screen tourism, yes. It sounds like a niche trend, but seeing these incredible backdrops in big international movies or TV shows, it makes Phuket a tangible, desirable investment.
It puts it on the map in a new way.
It does. And it has real financial implications. We have seen properties appreciate almost overnight after being featured in a major series because people want to buy that exact lifestyle they saw on screen.
Which brings us to the ultimate expression of all these trends. Integrated resort living. The full package.
Luna Phuket is the classic example of this model. You're not just buying a house, you're buying into an entire lifestyle ecosystem.
With golf courses, restaurants, shops, everything is right there.
And what makes these so appealing, especially for someone who isn't there all the time, is the idea of branded residences.
So a property that's partnered with a major hotel brand.
Exactly. It gives you built-in credibility, consistency in quality, service, and most importantly, management. It's peace of mind. For example, there are some elegant 1- and 2-bedroom condos near Phuket town, finishing in 2027, that fall right into this category.
And that reliable management is critical.
It's everything. A robust management team handles all the maintenance, the upkeep, and secures rental income for absentee owners. They take the hassle out of owning property abroad, which for a high-net-worth investor is absolutely essential.
So to synthesize this whole deep dive, Phuket is undergoing this fundamental evolution. It's being driven by really smart, strategic infrastructure improvements that are meeting a rising global demand for a permanent, high-quality, amenity-rich way of life.
That's it in a nutshell.
It's a dynamic market that has just decisively moved beyond temporary tourism and towards sophisticated long-term investment.
And as you think about that massive shift, here's a final thought to mull over. With this global focus on remote work and wellness, how quickly will the line between a home and a high-end resort blur in other major cities?
That's a great question.
Will the resort home become the default expectation for luxury living everywhere? Is Phuket basically showing us the blueprint for the future?
A fascinating thought. It really flips the script on what a home is supposed to be. And if you are curious about making this kind of investment, whether it's resort-grade real estate or those turnkey pool villas, the experts who compiled all this data, who've been on the ground in Phuket since 2004, can help you find that perfect spot. Just go to oceanwwp.com.
That's OCEANWWW.com.